Peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Assalamu Allah. Peace to the gods. Peace to the goddesses. I'm your brother in the struggle for peace, truth, reality, freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Minister Alifullah. In the day, family, we're going to build on the messenger's message in this age of mess on this particular subject. Prehistory. Now, this is going to be a difficult subject for you to flow with me with. But I want you to take your bow ties off. Take off your kimar for a minute. Take away your organized religion. I want you to look at your Bible, your Quran, your Torah, your Septuagint, your Vulgate, your Sanskrit, your lessons, whatever it is you're working with. I want you to look at it with an open mind. Now, there's two basic premises here. You have some people that like to come together and they want to debate. They want to argue Christian versus Catholic, Jews versus Muslims, black versus white, on and on and on and on and on. All right? Today, I want y'all to look at the big picture, the whole picture. I want to give y'all the opportunity for the first time in your life to put it all together, to really reflect on it and think about it. Those of you who are student followers of Master Fard Muhammad and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I need you to do something too, because for the past 90 years, the Nation of Islam has focused on the messenger without focusing on his message. I need y'all to focus on the messenger's message in this age of mess. So the things that I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm going to say 5 minutes, 10 minutes from now. I'm going to just go freestyle. But later on, I'm going to give you the backup, the foundation. I'm going to add the actual quotes to substantiate what I'm telling you, so that you can at least say, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did teach that. It's just that I never thought of it in that way. Now, there are a lot of assumptions, and preconceived notions already in the minds of various believers. So when we're talking about the Nation of Islam, we're not talking about a monolithic group. We're talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in 1975, he's reportedly dead. Whether you believe he's alive or not, that's not today's subject. But in 1975, his son, Imam Warfdi Muhammad, has a different paradigm. He has a different belief system. But his son, Warfdi Muhammad, Imam Warfdi Muhammad, Wallace Delancey Muhammad, comes in, takes over the Nation of Islam. He's the leader. He's the supreme minister of the Nation of Islam. Minister Farrakhan works for him. Jeremiah Shabazz works for him. All right? Let's not get spooky here. Wallace is that boy. So in 1975, Wallace is running the Nation of Islam. Theologically, Salis Muhammad steps back up. Shout out to the Honorable Brother Minister Salis Muhammad, his wife Mashika. They basically like, all right, we're going to try to get this thing. But Wallace is too powerful, even for Salis. This is the reality. But Salis got the heart to yo, I'm going to try. You know what I mean? And he stepped forward, and I love and respect him and all the other ministers that came forward. I respect the 5%ers that were still in the street, teaching them lessons, studying them lessons, which are our blessings. You know what I mean? But long story short, the Nation of Islam, for whatever reason, it fell apart. All right. Eventually, you had the Council of Elders come together, and they had good niyat or intentions. And I was really rooting for them back in the day, but it's a lot of envy and jealousy amongst brothers and sisters, a lot of Yaqub's law, divide and conquer. Long story short, when it's all said and done, when you get all of Muhammad Speaks newspapers from any branch, all of the Final Call newspapers, whatever, the Son of Man's, the Power Papers, whatever, our primary focus has been for 90 years on like lessons, the Bible, the Quran, economics, slavery for 400 years, Yaqub's history for 6,000 years, the white man is our problem, and all of that is important. All of that is part of our struggle. But when you really think about it, when you really just slow down for a minute, take the emotions away. Don't take it personal, none of it. And just look at what is it that Masfar Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad is really saying here. They giving us a way deeper message, family. Way deeper. They're giving us literally the supreme wisdom. And today we're going to look at this supreme wisdom from the perspective of not a closed worldview, but an open worldview. An open worldview is basically a worldview where you're willing to adapt, to modify your mathematics to be in harmony with the arts and sciences of the universe in the time in which you presently live, basically. All right. One of the primary cores of a worldview is what is real? I mean, what is reality? The Holy Quran, chapter 20, verse 6, Allahu ana al-haq. What is, God is the reality. Okay, what is real? Like I'm right here now, but I used to be a liquid in my father. I used to be a liquid in my mom. I used to be a liquid in the water I drink. I used to be a liquid in the H2O, the hydrogen bonded by two atoms of oxygen, the atoms of, I was a liquid, I was a mental thought in the mind of Allah made manifest, mental magnetics, mental telepathy. All these higher sciences predates the tiny slither of our story when we look at the 6,000-year reign of Caucasoids, the 400 years of slavery, suffering, and death. Long before any of that, long before there was a red man or yellow man or brown man, going back to the original black man, long before, I'm talking trillions of years, family, before there was any such thing as a black woman. There was only the black man. So our prehistory is so deep and so vast. When you really call the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and look at it for what it is, look at it, what he taught, his message in this age of mess, you'd be like, we've been missing the mark. So we're going to get into this today. So the worldview, what is real? What is reality? It's like, it's no sense in me and you arguing all day long over trivial things. You know what I mean? It's just, we can show and prove. And, it's often said, okay, if you don't believe in gravity, jump off a mountain and see what happens. You know what I mean? But scientists will come and look at you, be like, they jump off the mountain and have a parachute. They'll jump off the mountain and have a rocket booster and just fly to the next mountain if they wanted to. They'd be like, your worldview is limited. So it's like, yeah, you're a mortal. You're thinking like a mortal. You're not thinking like a god or a goddess. So you can't even relate to the level that I'm teaching on because you're spooky. You're thinking in a way where you have a worldview that's limited to you're going to die to live. That if you're good, you're going up in the clouds and be in heaven forever. If you're bad, you're going to go under the ground and you're going to be in hellfire and hot lava and magna forever. Know what I mean? So the next prong of a worldview is what is true? What is the truth? Hawk. What is true? That is commonly known as the epistemology. What is the epistemology? Like what is it that y'all consider to be the truth, if you will? You see, it's like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad he don't get into like the 4,000 different religions on the planet Earth. He teaches us a real simple concept. He teaches us like we don't get into which ancient scriptures is written in the Torah and Hebrew and Aramaic. What did the original Injil or Gospels say in the Greek and the Aramaic? Or what did the Holy Quran teach 1,400 years ago? Did they gather together the tafsirs, the hadiths, what have you? This thing's like, listen, it's real simple. Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2. The Holy Quran, the Bible, is made by the original people. Who is it's saying no matter what religion, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Catholicism, Christianity, or Protestantism, Judaism, atheism, all of it is nothing but concepts. It's a worldview from human beings on the face of the planet Earth, covering 196,940,000 square miles. So it's really asinine and a waste of time for us to sit around and argue worldviews. I mean, it's like, you basically going to believe what you want to believe. Now, the metaphysics of it is to the reality, what is real. Some people don't care what is real. So no matter what empirical evidence you give them, they simply believe that there is going to be some type of God that's going to come out the sky off the clouds, or they believe there's some type of devil or demon or jinn that comes from up underneath the hot magma or hot lava, because they looking at volcanoes. They don't know the science of volcanoes, so they looking at the volcano saying, well, it's hot lava, it's fire in there. So, their belief system, like Moloch, they'll throw the babies inside the hot lava. They think like, oh, I want to be good because if I'm not, I'm going to go inside the hot lava or the hot magma and I'm going to be burnt up in there forever. So when somebody come and be like, yo, that's a metaphor, that's symbolic, like that's not talking reality, that's not going back to what is real, the metaphysics of it. That thing is like, what is you talking about? It's in my holy Bible. It's in my Torah. It's in my Holy Quran. That's what my ancestors believed. They believed in the spirits. They believed in spooks. They believed in luck. They believed in leprechauns and Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and Sandmen and tooth fairies. And in their brain, it makes perfect sense. And they pass that nonsense down to their children's children until you have thousands and thousands of years of spookism. Okay, so one of the other major prongs of a worldview is what is right. Like the basic ethics, if you will. It's like they be like, thou should not do this or that. It's like the United States government be like, if you kill somebody, you going to jail. You be like, oh, the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. That's a bad thing. Yes, it is. However, if the president of the United States of America declares a war and the general drafts you and sends you to boot camp and they send you to whoever they say is an enemy to them and you kill the enemy, now, it's not against the Ten Commandments. If you did it for your nation, you're a hero. You get a Medal of Honor. You get a Purple Heart. You get some money. You get position. You get the accolades. So this is the pseudoscience of how human culture has all this dichotomy and contradictions in it, you see? And this is how organized religions literally operate. They based on beliefs. Their human endeavors. Their mores, their cultures. Their signs, their symbols, their languages, their economics. All of those things put them in that position. But let's look at something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm gonna just summarize some stuff real short and brief for y'all. Let's get into this. You find a lot of FOI and MGTs that focus on Yaqub's history, Moses' history, Nimrod's history, the history of the nation of Islam, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, how to eat to live, economics, drilling, politics, what have you. But the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad is way, 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 way deeper than that. Let's look. If we used to go backwards in time, like what is it that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad actually teaches us? I would take and give us a foundation, a premise to start with. And our Savior has arrived. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we always had 6 trillion years between each manifestation. You see over here in the corner, we have the holy flag of Islam. We got the red flag with the white crescent moon and a white 5-pointed star on it. Our story is basically that sun was made 78 trillion years ago. Now, juxtapose that to Yaqub's history, 6,000 years ago. White people, 6,000 years. Slavery, just 400 years ago. 78 trillion years ago, the black man made the sun. All right? 72 trillion years, not the black man, but human beings on Earth made the stars. Human beings had the ability with their thoughts. Thoughts do not become things. Thoughts are things. Their thoughts, their dominant ideas, with their pineal gland, with their physical brains, they was able to use the law of electromagnetics to spark the atoms inside our atmosphere and beyond the atmosphere, the troposphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere, the exosphere, out deep space. They was able to spark our galaxy, according to a law in person, is 157 quintillion miles away. So the black man could take and conceive a thought and be like, there be a light. And this, he only lived, say, 100, 1,000 years. He physically died. And a billion, trillion, 5 trillion years in the future, a star spark up in space. His brain was connected to the atom in the darkness of space. The atom, the protons, the electrons, and the neutron was 3 forces: positive forces, neutral forces, and negative forces. Spiritually speaking, we define that in the Nation of Islam as the positive force, the proton, as the 5%, the poor righteous teachers. The neutral force that coexists with this positive force, we consider that neutral people, or the 85%, the mentally dead. They worship that which they know not what. They neither this nor that, all right? Then we have this other ring cipher that's outside the other 2 ciphers. The electron cloud, the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, they know what 5% know, but they use it in a negative sense, you see? Their position is they're trying to exploit and dominate and destroy. We're trying to build. So this universe is made up of these 3 forces. Now, out of that, we get all of these gods, these mortals, and these devils. They're called gods, mortals, and devils in ancient Sumerian texts. They're known in ancient Kemet, Egypt. They're known in the Torah. They're known in the Bible, the Quran, the Septuagint, the Vulgate, the Sanskrit, what have you. This has always been with humanity. But in that concept, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is showing us that we had a system and we had beings that predates history. Our story was fully active before his story ever began. Let's look at this. 114 trillion years ago. The sun, 78 trillion years old. The star, 72 trillion years old. The moon, 66 trillion years old. Think about that. Add 6 trillion to each one of those manifestations. 6 trillion years plus 6 trillion brings what? 72 trillion. The star. Add 6 trillion years to the history of the stars. 6 trillion years plus 72 trillion years brings what? 78 trillion years ago. Our sun. Remember, there's 3 forces: protons, neutrons, electrons. Add 6 trillion years to that sun. Because the sun is what? Atoms of hydrogen and helium. Carbon, oxygen. It's a mixture of minor trace atoms. But 78 trillion years plus 6 trillion years, 78 trillion years added to that, 6 trillion years added to that, it brings you to 114 trillion years. We say there's 114 degrees or 114 surahs or 114 chapters to what? The Holy Quran. Before we had a brown man or yellow man or red man or an albino man or any white man, there was only black men on earth. There were no black women yet. The black woman, the womb of man, according to Allah God, who came to personal Master Father Muhammad, to my praises due forever, and his first, last, and only messenger, the most humble Elijah Muhammad, was made from the original man studying himself. This may seem kind of strange in this modern day and time of pseudoscience, but in nature, there are some babies in 2025. This is January 2025. There are babies in 2025 that were born yesterday that are considered hermaphrodites. Look that up. They have both sexes. Why? Because scientifically, according to the laws of nature, Mother Nature and Father God, when a fetus is forming in its mother's womb, in its umi, in its mommy, it is neither male nor female. It has the XY chromosome, and if the double X chromosome is dominant, it's going to produce estrogen and manifest a baby girl. But if it's a XY chromosome, the testosterone is going to be dominant and it's going to manifest a baby boy, a man god. So in the origin of time, our worldview is that the original man was there first. Now, this original man came from the primordial waters and mud of the planet Earth. But that is not his origin. He has no origin. He has no beginning nor ending. The said nation Islam has no beginning, and it's older than sun, moon, and stars. It's older than every atom. It's older than space-time itself. It's older than the universe. The mind of man, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is infinite, capable of accomplishing anything that the brain can conceive. But the brain was not even in physical existence yet. Allah had to come in the person. The energy had to vibrate in the level of the material plane or matter in order for it to matter. Because when something is doing nothing, we define it as nothing. You can have a Rolls Royce Phantom. If you're on the tip like, oh, I got the keys, I got a Rolls Royce Phantom, and I'm trying to get home. But you don't have no battery. You don't have no spark plug. You don't have no gas. You're walking. But I got a Rolls. Your car is a physical car, but it's not developed to the capacity that is made manifest. It's potential energy, but it's not kinetical energy. If I take a book of matches and I take a match off, and I got some sulfur over here, I got the strike over here, and I got a match here. This match is not fire. It has the potential to manifest fire. If I strike it right, no, sometimes I used to strike a match and it break off and that joint ain't work. Turn it over. Oh man, I just stripped the darn match. Then I had to do a real light and it's twisted. Got some fire. The sun is kinetical energy. It's made manifest. You see? We have the neuron, the brain cell, that generates a power equal to 170,000 of a volt of electricity. It's potential power. Master Fard Muhammad teaches us in the problem book and in our lessons, Lost Found Milestone lesson number 1 and number 2, about the original man. He also teaches it in Student Enrollment. He teaches us that the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. And that we were born with a 7.5 ounce brain, with 14 billion brain cells, and that our thoughts travel 24 billion miles per second. Thoughts are not things that manifest themselves. Thoughts are things. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us what? And our Savior has arrived, as well as in Theology of Time, about the power of having that new way of thinking, that new mind. He teaches us in the Theology of Time that that first God, he did not have a will yet. He's like, how could he have a will until he first produced a brain cell to think with? So in the very beginning, we're talking pure energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So energy can't be limited in any shape, form, or fashion. This energy is synonymous with what people call the creator of creation. Scientists would call it energy. We simplify it. We call it the mind of man. You can't see energy. Energy exists everywhere. See what I'm saying? You know, energy can't be created nor destroyed. It only transforms. It manifests as everything. Scientists is trying to understand what they call, in this day and time, dark matter. We get it. We simply say the mind of the black man. When we say the mind of the black man, we're not saying it in the context of just man, because man, black man, like, this is January. I'll be 60 this month. I mean, but at one time I was a teenager. Before that, I was a boy. Before that, I was a baby. Before that, I was in my mommy. Before that, I was in my daddy. Before that, I was in water. Before that, I was in the atoms. But we don't have no beginning or ending, family. When I physically die, you know, we all going to physically die. I'm going to try to live as long as I can, but at some point I got to die. We all got to die, you see? But when I die, my bones is going to just turn right back to stone. My flesh is going to turn right back to vegetation. The blood in my body is nothing but salt water. I mean, I came out of this earth. I'm going to go back into this earth. But I'm not going to stay in this earth, nor is this earth going to remain an earth. This planet is going to eventually disintegrate and turn right back into the atoms of space. And those atoms are not the end of all things. No, the atoms are going to transform into quarks or protons or smaller baby atoms. And they're going to break down and transform back into pure energy. And the energy going to, and we don't have no beginning or ending. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us before their story, before his story, it was all about our story. And this is how our story was operating. The original man, the black man of Asia, on earth, he did not know that there was a God. He did not know that he was God. He did not believe in a mystery God. He only knew reality. And in that concept, in that worldview and observation, which is the first law of nature, the first law of survival is the preservation of self. So he struggled to maintain himself. And in studying and observing his universe, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the original man searched for that mystery God. We actually went looking like, okay, well, who is God? Like, you know, maybe God is in the water somewhere. Maybe is that sun God? Is the atom God? Is God a spirit? Is the moon God? Is that red planet Mars God, or Venus, or Jupiter, or Saturn? Who is God? See what I'm saying? And he actually pragmatically developed a worldview because he searched for a mystery God. And the original men could not find a mystery God. So you're like, wait a minute. Now, Elijah Muhammad teaches us that a lot of people, you hear a lot of people in Nation Islam talking about the mother plane. You don't hear, very rarely, think about this. Think about it. Even on YouTube, you think about it. I ain't going to say something. I say, nowhere you're going to find this. People teaching on the other plane. The Elijah Muhammad teaches us not about just the mother plane. He teaches us about the other plane. The mother plane is made in 1929 in Nippon, Japan. Brand new history there. 1929. This is only 2025. The message teaches us 66 trillion years ago, the black man already had a mother plane. And it's the same type of plane that he used to fly around and drop bombs and build mountains on planets. Think that over. 72 trillion years ago, family, we used to use the planet Mars as our moon. Wow. 66 trillion years ago, the black god Granddaddy Shabazz tried to force everyone on Earth to speak the same dialect and blasted away a part of our planet called Earth, and he formed our equality, or formed the moon that we have today, 243,000 miles away from the planet Earth. But if he did that 66 trillion years ago, you got to ask yourself, how did we live on Earth 67 trillion years ago? We was alive on Earth 67 trillion years ago because we had a different moon. The moon then was the planet Mars. Mars was not at the distance that it is today. She was closer to us, and she served as a moon to keep the water equal or level on the face of the planet Earth. This is the teachings that this is the prehistory that I'm talking about. This had nothing to do with cavemen, white folks, Indians, Chinese, none of that. We're talking only the original man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. We're talking literally the atom of mind. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that in the beginning, Allah himself did not even have a will to think with. Think that over. The original man. See, you got instinct and intuition. We can do certain things by intuition, by instinct. Intuitively, we can act. It's not our own volition. We're not willing it into existence. We just do it naturally because we're acting in accord with the universal order of things. You see? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teachings is way deeper than many people realize. So what's happening is you have all these archaeologists and all these modern day scientists in different fields that's trying to figure out, like, yo, why is these ancient relics, these ancient giant stone monoliths built like literally beyond human comprehension? Like these had to be built by gods. They was, but not aliens. No, it was the Anunnaki was not some alien civilization. There is no the original man. Check. What I mean by check? I mean black men on Earth in flying vehicles traveled to distant planets looking for a mystery god. They mathematically calculated that our universe is 238 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. The distance straight through the diameter, is 76 quintillion miles. 76 quintillion miles by pi 3.14 equals the circumference, 238 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. Allah said the galaxy, the stars, not some, all the stars, is 157 quintillion miles. You're not going to find a star beyond 157 quintillion miles. Allah said that the closest star, Alpha Centauri, is 4.3 light years away. He teaches us that Al-Shams, the sun, is a moderate star. It's 93 million miles away, or 150 million kilometers away. And he teaches us that light travels 186,000 miles per second. Therefore, it takes sunlight 8 minutes and 20 seconds to germinate the 7 layers in the black man's skin, the melanin in our skin, the dominant essence of carbon that's in our being. And there is no mystery God. He teaches us that the original man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the very God of the entire universe, his DNA, his seed, his essence, he don't care who it is. If the black man mates with a brown woman, he produces the black baby. If the black man mates with the yellow woman, he produces the black baby. If he reproduces with the red woman, he produces the black baby. If he reproduces with the albino woman, he's going to reproduce the original baby. If he reproduces with a white woman, he's still going to reproduce the original baby. Because the black man is the source or the essence of every human being that ever walked anywhere on the face of the planet Earth, covering 196,094,000 square miles. Your concept of God is that God is from a distant mystery heaven, that God is an alien from an ancient advanced civilization. No, you're only talking about black men who in antiquity had such an advanced civilization that compared to other civilizations, they were all mortals. The black men were gods. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that it was an angel that literally had a star or a meteorite or a comet crash down on this little island because the island was full of advanced black scientists who were so sophisticated, so advanced that they got kind of lazy. I mean, they literally was like, you know how they say the saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the angel was like, yo, y'all tripping. Y'all getting a little spooky here. Y'all ain't even worrying about helping humanity. Y'all selfish and worried about your own needs and desires. He destroyed that whole civilization. So you get all this mythos and all these ancient legends and mystery gods and the Atlantis and aliens. And it's like, listen, if you look at the worldview, look at the kernel of the truth, it's only talking about advanced human beings teaching and dominating and helping lesser beings, human beings, and having dominion or control over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and everything that creeps upon the face of the planet Earth. This is the power that the black human gods and goddesses gave from the Asians or the world to the dead world, or the Asian to the Caucasian. It was black people on the island of Pelan or Patmos that said, let us make mankind in our image, after our likeness. We gave them the arts and sciences to master the entire universe. We was the ones like, and now nothing that they can imagine they won't be able to do. Anything they put their mind to. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us what? We now got two gods, a black god and a white god. The white race are gods and goddesses. Every time you look at a white man and a white woman, you're looking at a god or a goddess. They're not a god or goddess in the natural sense, like they're dominant. They don't have a melanin. They're not children of the sun. The sun does a whole totally different thing on their 3 layers of skin. It's a totally different thing on their recessive gene. Blonde hair is recessive. Black hair is dominant. You see? Black eyes are dominant. Blue eyes are recessive. I'm not a racist. Don't think I hate anybody. I don't hate anyone. So how can I hate anything that the original man produced? We're the fathers and producers of all things. That'd be like hating my own children. You see what I'm saying? No, we have to understand. It's like, no, it's in nature. Sharks are just different from tuna. Like, it ain't nothing personal. Piranha fish swim in school because they were made different from trout. Like if the school of trout come around the school of piranha, they're gonna destroy them. I mean, not because they hate them. It's just like they like, yo, we was made to eat this school of fish. We'll annihilate them. Chicken hawks just like chickens. It's just, it's like snakes is like, I just like eating frogs. Like, I mean, like cats, like I like eating mice. It's nothing it's just the nature of certain life forms take on its own dimensions, its own mathematics, because the first law of nature is self-preservation. Only the strong survive. All you weak, spooky jokers, y'all gonna be like dinosaurs out of here thinking this spooky pseudo nonsense that y'all trying to do. It's not going to last. It's not going to work. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at Republicans or Trump or any of that. See what I'm saying? I understand where we at. We're in the United States of America. I mean, we're supposed to be simply trying to do for self. I mean, we're supposed to be pushing our Black Project 2025. I mean, you read Project 2020. Why is you worrying about the negative, worrying about them, instead of doing for yourself? You see? You have to make or unmake yourself. There is no mystery God. You can pray to the sky all day long, but you have to understand that a prayer is not an adjective or a verb. A prayer is a noun. A person has to be in a certain place doing something in order to answer their prayers. So you got all these pseudoscientists, they talk about aliens and shift shakers and little green men. It's like, yes. You got other people that talk about Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and all that too. Tell them to show and prove it. Not some of them. If you get 1,000 of them together, 10,000 of them together, 1 million or 1 billion of them together, not one will ever, now I ain't saying sometimes, I'm saying they will never show and prove to you an alien. Ever. Like, they be like, they believe anything, but belief and knowledge are different. Downbalaji Muhammad teaches us we can believe that there's an airplane outside on the doorstep. But once we open that door, we now know whether or not there's an airplane outside on that doorstep. So you saying, Ali, there's no aliens? No, I believe in aliens. I don't believe in aliens being over the original man. I don't believe aliens came to Earth and enslaved the black man and had us mining and picking cotton or any of that. It's like, no. Y'all getting spooked out your mind. Y'all tripping now. You see what I'm saying? When you understand life, the purpose of life, when you have a worldview, you understand in science, water is alive. H2O. Hydrogen, oxygen. Coming together. Hydrogen, helium, making the sun, coming together, having sex, atoms reproducing, sparking the sun, sparking stars, carbon, you know what I mean? It's like rocks are alive. A seed under the ground germinating, sending a shoot down, and then a tree comes up, producing this giant oak. It's alive, family. A flower turning towards the sun, facing the east, and the sun go over there, it'll turn towards the sun over there. It'll drink water, you know what I mean? It'll communicate with other plants. Ants are alive. The sun is alive. Atoms are alive. Sperm cells, eggs, and ovum mixed there, it's alive. It's producing you. So you have a Eurocentric way of thinking. You thinking linear. You believe mistakenly that there's such thing as a past, a present, a future. No, Downbalaji Mama teaches us what? time is created by motion. He teaches us in 1972 in the Theology of Time, if I move my hand from this position to this position, you could calculate the motion and extract the time. We live on a planet, family, that's rotating on her axis 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour. She's 24,896 miles in her circumference. We can extract 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds out of a solar day. We can extract 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds in a solar year. The Earth, the planet, is alive. The universe, Mother Nature, is alive. The raindrop is alive. That raindrop, just one raindrop, hits a seed. The light, a rod of light from our sun, 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers away. Just one rod of that sun goes into the earth and hits this seed, and one drop of rain hits it from the clouds, a nimbus cloud, a stratus cloud, a cirrus cloud, a cumulus. One nimbus cloud, a raindrop, falls down on the earth, and it germinates this seed. And that which was dead is now alive. Everything in the universe is alive. So I'm like, of course there's life on 7 planets. Of course the atoms are alive. Of course your thoughts are alive. You see? If you understand it. What do you mean by life, family? You see what I'm saying? What do you mean by life? I'll be like, life is intelligence. It's like, don't be prejudiced. Just because something don't have your form of intelligence don't mean it's not intelligent. You see? If you go in your kitchen and you got a granite countertop, how do you think granite stone formed? How do you think your gold formed? How do you think your diamonds formed, your pearls formed? They was alive, family. They use the 9 forces which balances out equilibrium: attraction, repulsion, cohesion, assimilation, dissimulation, creation, projection, reception, and intuition. They use the 7 dimensions of thought: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. This is the power that's innate to your very nature. Anything that you think you can do, you can do. Anything you think you cannot do, you cannot do. Jesus taught us what? If you had the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain, family. You can make a tree jump up and run down the street. But you have to let this mind that's in Christ be in you. You see? It's not a mystery God. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that when we pick up our Bible and we read the biblical story about John on the island of Patmos or Pelan, 25 miles out in circumference out in the Aegean Sea, it's really talking about Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz. That's important because what he's showing us is that the book of Revelations is really the first book of the Bible, not the book of Genesis. See, the Council of Nicaea, they constructed the different 66 books and put the verses together, did that thing, whatever, as time went on. But when you look at our worldview, we're taught that no, Yaqub is on the island of Pelan, and he's putting teachings in a symbolic way about the beast and the dragon and what's going to happen in the future. But the book of genes, is the book of genetics, the book of Genesis. When you read in there about Jacob and he's grafting the black cow to a brown cow to a yellow cow to a speckled and rainbow cow until eventually you get the cow of Laban or a white cow. That's Yaqub grafting the devil on the island of Pelan, family. But it's put in symbolic language, you see. It's put in esoterical code where if you read it from the position of organized religion, you're never going to understand your Bible because you think it's talking about a mystery God and mystery devils and demons and a heaven in the sky and a hell up under the earth. It's talking about you, your ancestors, and your future's reality. There is no mystery God, family. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Master Fard Muhammad actually showed him a physical photograph of the ancient Martians that used to live on the planet Mars. I want you to think about that for a minute. Now, a lot of FYSMG get spooked out their minds. Anything they see, jokers be looking at the planet Venus because they don't know astronomy. They be like, oh, it's the mother plane. They be looking at drones. I mean, you know, they don't know the sciences of life. So they just immediately think, oh, that's a scout ship. That's the mother plane. I mean, you could personally just send up a dollar store balloon attached with a candle in it and send up 5 of them and watch how many UFO reports come up in your county. That's how naive the 85%. They easy to lead in the wrong direction. But scientists is like, yo, there are different types of microscopes. There's different types of binoculars. I mean, I got 2 upstairs. I mean, I'll look at them. It's a drone. It's a fake. 99.99% of extreme fakes. I mean, but people just run with. I remember when we was children, we used to study with a powerful telescope. You know, a friend of mine lived across the street from me on 12th and Negro, Randy. His only child, you know, his mom bought him whatever he wanted. He had a powerful telescope. We all up on a porch. You know, we listen to music, chilling, whatever in the summertime, having fun, clear sky, you know. And they looking at it, they like, oh man, it's aliens. And everybody screaming, oh my Lord, it's aliens up there. You know, so they you know, I'm like, let me see. You know what I mean? I was skeptical. I didn't, you know, I was like, but let me see. Maybe they right. You see what I'm saying? You know, you always have to be open to possibilities in our universe. I mean, you know, so I look at it and I'm like, wow, it definitely was something that caught my, I don't know what it was. It was absolutely something on the moon that caught my attention. I was like, step 1, I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astronomer. I was like 14 years old, but I was like, I don't know what that was. Let me look at that again. And I looked at it again. And I ain't see it. Then I seen it again. Whoa. I see why y'all saying what y'all saying. But to reach the conclusion that it's aliens, I'm like, I'm a little hesitant with that. I'm trying to think in my head, what could that possibly be? You know what I mean? You know, let me look at it again. And I looked at it again, it was like, oh, it was shadows. And the moving shadow is, you know, and it made sense, you see? You know, but I could have followed the crowd. I could have followed the pack. You know what I mean? Just ran off with the spooky stuff, you know, but that never been me. See, that's not the type of disposition or nature I have. That's not my character. You know what I mean? I'm more practical. You gotta like show and prove to me. They gotta convince me. You know what I mean? You know, but that don't mean that there are things we don't understand. That don't mean that I confuse that which I believe with that which I know. I believe that in antiquity, there was an alien civilization on the planet of Mars because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Master Fard Muhammad showed him an actual physical photograph, I believe it's from the Secret Vaults of Mecca, of Martians on Mars. And they were taller than us. They're like 7 foot. And they lived on average 1,200 Earth years. Cool. He was not saying it's aliens on Mars right now. They had an advanced civilization, UFOs that came down to Earth, mixed with the women on Earth. They enslaved human beings. It's like, that's where all the pseudo stuff is. You know, the messenger position was more nuanced. He specifically, as the messenger of Allah, explained 2 things that took the spooky stuff right out to me. He explained, he said, I did not go into too much detail on alien civilizations because Allah was trying to make me acquainted with life on this planet and not on other planets. Important point. Important worldview right there. All right? Meaning what? My electric bill is not, if my lights go out, I do not expect the mother plane to come charge this house up. I do not expect Master Farmer Muhammad to drop some gold coins. Like, here you go. It's like, I'm going to have to pay the electric bill. I got to make it happen. If I don't do for self, it won't get done. You see what I'm saying? So that's the first. I know for a fact, all of the trials and tribulations and the darkest moments going through hell, from going to war with devils, no mother plane came and saved me, ever. If I didn't save myself, I wouldn't be here. You see what I'm saying? It don't happen like that. The other thing the messenger pointed out how to live, he explained to us, he said, if I went to Mars today, I do not know if I could ask them to prepare some chicken or fish. Because I don't know what they eat on that. Whatever they eat is for that planet. He explained that the people of Mars live 1,200 years on average, or 200 years longer than the people who are supposed to live on Earth, which is 1,000 years on average. He said, they really, unlike us, they don't have human brains of curiosity. Like if you look at a squirrel, for example, like I used to just chill in the yard or something, and you just study a squirrel or a turtle or a garden snake or a bird, whatever, they cool, they chilling, they doing their thing in that little cycle of life and death, but they don't have that human intuition. Like, we're never satisfied. I mean, like, we always want to go to no matter what we learn, we want to learn more. It's just something about human beings. Like, if we learn how to build houses out of our environment, like if you're in the woods, you'll see wood cabins pop up. You're in the prairies, you'll see them take the straw and make straw huts. They'll take the mud and make brick huts. They'll take the snow and make igloos. That's what humans do. We go, if there's a hole in the mountain, we'll go into the caves. I mean, a lot of people like, black people never lived in caves. Yes, we did. I mean, we just was never ignorant living inside the caves, but we wasn't in the caves with cell phones either. We always make progress as time goes on. I mean, so that we live and we learn. That's just the natural disposition of the human beings. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that there is, in fact, an ancient Martian civilization. It's 2025. Okay, we got NASA, we got the rover, we got other man-made, American-made technological robots that's on this planet looking around. It's like the science is like, it's shown and proven, like, yeah, we got the little blueberries. We analyzed them. Absolutely. There was a huge ocean on the planet Mars. It's like we see, like, yeah, it's ice caps on the North and South Pole. It's like, when that ice melts, is it going into Earth? Is it water deep down in Mars? Is there life forms in Mars? Is there intelligent life forms in Mars? Is it plankton? Is it bacteria? Is it some type of insect? I don't know. But I absolutely would not be surprised to find hundreds and millions and billions and trillions of life forms on distant moons and different distant planets throughout our universe, covering 238 continuous 640 quadrillion miles. The challenge with all that is that's totally different from me seeing some type of worm or shrimp or bird flying or whatever, than some type of entity that's technologically advanced more than human beings on Earth. Our thing is, you can believe that, but we don't know that. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, I would love to see something like that. I would love to be wrong. You know what I mean? That'd be a powerful, powerful learning experience. But it's a belief. What I do know is we have human beings on Earth. And what I do know is that over the past 6,000 years, white folks just ruling right now. I don't care what it's 7 continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, and Europe. There's 7 major land masses on the planet Earth covering 57,255,000 square miles. The biggest one is Asia, 16 million square miles. Then you got Africa. I don't care which landmass it is. It's ran by white corporations. Yes. Banks, telecommunications, factories, McDonald's, Meta, social media, whatever. I mean, the reality is there are human gods on Earth in 2025, known as the white race. They have been ruling this planet for the past roughly 6,000 years tops. Prior to that time, they worshiped black people, brown people, yellow people, red people as the gods. The Europeans, the cave people, the Moors, the Blackamoors, they was like, we're not on these gods' level. They taught the bubonic plague, them living in the caves, us sending Moses or Musa, Prophet Musa up there, teaching them not to eat raw meat and cutting their tails off and teaching them how to use fire. And, they drinking water out of dead animal skulls. They were cave people. But we civilized the uncivilized. We taught them the arts and sciences. We sent them Abraham. Nimrod came up there on his own and broke Moses' civilization by 300 years. We sent them Prophet Moses to teach them the arts and sciences of civilization. You see? The Greeks literally learned countless things from studying Africa. They studied the Egyptians, the Libyans, the Moroccans, and all. They like, yeah, that thing was like, we know for a fact black people are gods. When they study ancient Babylon, when they look at the Tigris River and that water area, all these ancient civilizations, these cities, these people were absolutely 1,000,000,000% all natural gods and goddesses on the face of the planet Earth. You see? And they learned from that. And they studied those ancient texts, and they learned from our scholars, and they learned our language, you see? And they came and they saw and they conquered. You see, because by nature, the message teaches us, the message of the black man, black people have a heart of gold. Such a heart, nature just didn't give to the Caucasian. They from Europe. It's just cold and damp, and they're not children of the sun. It's different when you got to survive. It's like yo, we're up here. We gotta be hunters and gatherers. But if you're in a rich African continent, if you're living along the Nile River or the Tigris River and the Fertile Crescent Valley, and it's like olives and pomegranates and figs and there's fruit, grapes and fish and it's just everything is right there, and it's warm all the time. It's beautiful weather. You don't need a house. You can just sleep outside under the stars, and you ain't got to hunt now. You just pick some food and just eat it. It's a garden of paradise, and people is going to come in with mythos, and they're going to form legends and mythologies and allegories and similes and parables about these ancient civilizations, and they're going to come up with all kind of pseudo stuff. That's what human beings do. And they pass that down from generation to generation until now today, the world is spooked out their mind. But the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad gives us a specific worldview. And he teaches us that if your religious belief is not in harmony or in accordance with the universal order of things it cannot be said to be from Allah, the God. Thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods. Peace to the goddesses.